have a nonprofit client that we did some strategy with. And as a result of that strategy, the first quarter they were able to bring in over $1 million.
Oh, wow.
This is a small nonprofit too.
What were they doing before?
About $250,000.
So they quadrupled their budget.
In the first quarter. Then they built...
For first quarter?
First quarter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Welcome to the NonProfit Nook, the podcast for nonprofit leaders, board members, and community changemakers who want to build stronger, smarter organizations. I'm your host, Wendy Kidd, a longtime business owner and nonprofit leader, and I'm here to bring you real talk, real tools, and real stories to help you thrive in the nonprofit world. I'll be talking with local nonprofit leaders, community changemakers, and experts in everything from board development to fundraising and digital tools, sharing real stories and simple strategies you can actually use. Because running a nonprofit is hard, but you don't have to do it alone. Let's get started. All right, everybody, welcome back to the NonProfit Nook with Dr. Colette Portis. If you have been listening, you have already listened to episodes 1 and 2, where we have been talking about strategic planning and how to do it. If you have not listened to episodes 1 and 2, I'm going to tell you right now, you got to go back and listen, because we've already talked about who should be doing strategic planning. We've already talked about how to get your assessments and your preparatory homework done before you're doing your strategic planning. And we've already talked about what all you should be planning in your strategic planning. So we're going to wrap up today with what is going on with how long it should take, give us some good examples, and how to implement this strategic plan. So welcome back, Dr.
Thank
Portis.
you. I'm excited to be back.
I am so glad you're here. I am so excited about this series. So I'm really excited today because we finally get to wrap this up, and hopefully everybody will feel like they have a plan for their strategic planning.
Yes.
So let's start where we kind of left off at the last episode. We talked about how you have 15 different plans that you're actually creating in this strategic planning process. How long does it take you to create these plans?
Yes. So industry average, it takes about 10 to 18 months to develop a strategic plan.
Yeah.
At Red Development Group, it's 90 days.
Oh, see, there you go. That's your shortcut right there.
But
that's the reason to hire somebody.
Remember, I talked about before being supported by technology and things like that. And we have we've got, a number of experts that are on our team that help to support expediting the process. But I mean, after 10 months, the year's over. We forgot what we said month 1.
That's right.
So now I will tell you, one of the things that Red does is we host a 3-day business strategy retreat.
Oh,
and you can get it done in 3 days.
That's amazing.
So we actually walk you through. It's an accelerated process. The price is way reduced from what it's going to cost if you just bring us in to do it. But we will get it done in 3 days. So our next one is November 19th through the 21st.
Oh, there you go.
You get in a room. What's amazing about the 3-day experience that you don't necessarily get when you're bringing us into your organization is you are in a room full of 30 other businesses.
Okay.
And we are working through this.
So it's businesses and nonprofits.
Yes.
Yes.
We are working through this, and you're hearing ideas and things like that from other people. You start to build these connections and build these bridges, but you start to hear best practices that other folks are using that you can implement into your strategy.
That's like listening to cheat codes.
It is like listening to cheat codes.
I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it. Okay, so you have this 3-day retreat. Do you want to share how much it costs?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
So we typically, when we do the 3-day, we do it for $7,500.
Okay.
You get to send 2 of your team members to put together the strategy. Now, granted, it's 3 days, but they've got 2 additional days of work that needs to happen. Right. And then what happens is they submit that data to us. We package that data into an ebook, and then we send it back to you. So now you've got like this manual that you use to work through your strategic plan. You're going to love this part. So at the end of that 3-day retreat, we end with our time management strategy.
I love
So
that. I'm all
each
about it.
person walks away with a time management planner. We teach them how to use that. We teach them how to get through their strategy. So when you start to talk about implementation, we are first helping you decide how to use your time. And then companies, typically what they will do is they will buy extra time management planners for the rest of their team. But this time management planner is what you use in your meetings, in your stand-ups.
There you go.
You're reporting based on what your time management strategy, your time management planner has in it. So your time management planner, 30 things you need to do this month. There's typically 30 days in a month. If I did one thing a day, then I'm good. But then how does the brain, so we use brain science to develop this.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
To develop this time management planner. How does the brain work when it's working on things? There's a such thing as flow. Mm-hmm. Flow says if you spend 15 minutes intently focused on something, you will go into what's called flow. And you can stay there for up to 2 hours. So we want to use that, right?
Of course we do.
So, but any task that your brain is doing at that 2 hour mark, it's maxed out. It is no longer going to be creative or anything. Now it is just in a pattern. So no creativity is happening anymore. So you shouldn't be spending more than 2 hours on any task.
I can completely validate this because if you guys know me, I've been an event planner for over 20 years. I refuse to have any meetings go longer than 2 hours.
Yes.
Because I found my couples, my event planning clients, they could not focus past the 2 hours. No. It would fall apart. Everybody would be miserable. Nobody would be happy with the decisions that were made after that 2 hour mark. We'd have to redo them later. It was ridiculous. So I'm glad there's actual science to back me up on that.
Actual science to back you up. Because what the brain goes is, okay, what is the pattern that I'm seeing so I can repeat the pattern? Mm-hmm. Locks out creativity. Or the brain goes, I am so tired of thinking about this. I am going to stop.
Mm-hmm. And it does.
And it just stops. So now the decisions you've made after the 2 hours is like, oh my God, this is terrible. Which is why when that happens, then you go back and look at it and you're like, ooh, this is so good. Wait a minute, what happened? You hit that 2 hour mark.
Yep.
So we teach them how to manage their time using brain science so that you are more effective at getting things done. And then we help them to set their calendar up so that they are getting work done in the midst of all the other things. Then we make sure that they have a 2 hour block on their calendar every single day. But you have to communicate to your team, to your family, to the people closest to you, that this is my 2 hour block. My phone will be off. I'm not checking email. I'm not doing any of these things. I'm not on social. I'm not doing it. I am focused on getting into flow. Now, people always go, well, can I do an hour here and an hour there? You absolutely can, but let's calculate the time.
Right.
It takes 15 minutes to get into flow. If you spend an hour, that means you got 45 minutes here and you got 45 minutes there, right? Which means you end up with an hour and 30 minutes of flow. If you did 1 2 hour block, you've got 1 15-minute that it takes to get into that. So now you've got hour and 45 minutes. So you've got some extra time in the state of flow. And flow happens when you go, did I write that? Did I do that? Right? That's when you're
impressive.
I'm like, wow, I am smart. That's what happens in the state of flow. So you want to use that, and you can use it on a daily basis. So we teach you how to do that. We teach you how to get your time back so you're not working 7 days.
Thank you.
How do you get done what you need to get done in 5 to 6 days? And take a day to do what you said earlier. Put your brain on vacation.
Yes.
Let it rest.
Absolutely.
Because when you let it rest, it's going to come back stronger, better, and you're going to be able to be more creative and innovative and all of that kind of stuff. And you will see things that you didn't see before.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Okay. So tell me the name of your retreat again.
It's the 3-day business strategy retreat.
3-day business strategy retreat. So it doesn't actually say strategic planning in the title, nonprofits, and it doesn't say nonprofit in the title, but it is still for you.
It is still for you.
So please, please, please take advantage of that. I'm going to have all the links, of course, in the show notes. But if somebody is doing this on their own and they are trying to do this between all the board member hours and all the volunteer hours and all the other people that were going to be involved. Guys, I'm just going to say right now, you need to plan different times and sessions over X amount of months, whatever you feel like your group can do. Do not try to do this all on a weekday night.
No.
Do not try to do this during your board meeting.
Right.
Do not try to do this during your annual retreat.
You won't get through it.
You're not going to get through it, and you're not going to do a good job of it. That's the point.
Absolutely.
Like, you can get through it, but you're going to not do the bang-up job that you think you're going to do. And there are plenty of resources out there. Of course, Dr. Portis has some books on the topic. I actually have one that she signed for me, which I love. She has books that you guys can read. There are other courses out there that you can take. There's the Center for Nonprofit Management, if you guys don't know about it. They do offer a 6-session course that goes over 6 months to help you do strategic planning. You might consider something like that. There are different ways to get it done. You don't have to reinvent the wheel here. You don't have to figure it out yourself. There are people who will help you get this done. You can talk to your local SBDC. You can talk to SCORE.
Yes.
Are there any others that I'm missing? Colette?
No, SBDC and SCORE are some good ones. Sometimes the business colleges, if their students if they have that as part of their curriculum, sometimes they can support you in getting that done too as a class project.
Yeah, talk to your local colleges, see if they can help you out with that. Okay, so we've talked about what we're doing in the strategic planning, and we've talked about how long it's supposed to take. Once we're done, and I've heard people actually say this is that $25,000 PDF.
Yeah.
That is not the goal, is to just pay for a piece of paper, right? We all need to know, how do we make this happen?
Absolutely.
How do we implement our strategic plan?
Yeah. You have to be intentional in the planning process. So you notice in our planning process, we have that accountability report at the end of every single plan. Who's responsible for it, what do they need to do, what does their reporting look like, who do they report to, all of that stuff. So now you take that, and now these are the things that you're talking about in your stand-up meetings. These are the things you're talking about in your 90-day reviews with your team. These are the things that are setting the KPIs, because part of that plan in the back, or the page at the back of the plan, the report, is saying what is the KPI connected to this plan.
What are the metrics that we can analyze as we go? How can we assess as we go?
What are we looking at on a regular, weekly, monthly basis? What's the number? What's the activity that we're looking at, so that it gets reported so your meetings aren't humdrum anymore. Your meetings are actually pointing you to your goal. So making sure that your meetings now are based around your strategy.
And these are your board meetings. These are your team meetings. This is not just upper level.
Correct. Absolutely.
You got to talk to the people who've got boots on the ground. And it's important, guys, because if you're not assessing as you go, 2 things are going to happen. One is you're going to lose momentum because you forgot all about that plan. You put it on a shelf, you put it in a file cabinet, you put it on hard drive. Nobody's looking at it anymore. Right. And when nobody's looking at it, nobody's thinking about it. So you're not actually implementing. You're going to lose your momentum. But number 2, if you are measuring as you go, you can celebrate your successes, which is going to keep that momentum going. And you're going to see the things that aren't working very quickly. Yes. And you can pivot. Everybody hates that word, but I love that word. You can pivot. You can see that this program's not working.
Absolutely.
We're doing something wrong here. So we need to put pause, and we need to reassess.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. So that's also the thing that's magical about the time management planner is on a weekly basis you are now tracking.
Yes.
So you know where you're behind and where you need to make up. You don't wait until the end of the year and go, oh my God, we are going to miss the mark. You know at the end of the week that you missed the mark. So now you know where to put it in and make it up the next week. But to your point, this isn't a plan, you write it and you're done. This is, you make tiny tweaks along the way because things happen. Sometimes you get to a goal faster. Sometimes the whole world changes and that thing is not even relevant anymore. And so you do away with that. This strategic planning process that we use saved our business. We started Red Development Group September of 2019. March of 2020, COVID happened.
Yes.
We had a national tour that we were going on starting April 1st of 2020.
Of course.
And without this plan, we would not have known how to pivot, what to do in our business in order to sustain the business so that it could keep going. And there were a couple of tweaks that we needed to make. We made them and we kept going. We didn't feel the pressure, and we made a significant amount of money because we only had to make a couple of tweaks. We didn't have to figure it all out. We only had to figure out a couple of things.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. And I think that is something that we all forget, that the world changes underneath our feet. And we all know it. Mm-hmm. It's ingrained in us. But we forget that we can actually make plans that will help us get through those times. Yeah. You know, we can build that thinking muscle through making our strategic planning so that we have the ability to go, oh, because we have been assessing. So when the world changes, we know it's not a surprise. And we can make plans to take care of that.
And let me add this. Once your plan is done, you need to talk to your internal and your external team.
Yes, I was just going to ask you this. Mm-hmm.
If you've hired an attorney firm, there are portions of that plan that your attorney firm needs to know about. And you need to have a conversation. So your next meeting with them, you need to be talking to them about the portions of that plan that is relevant to their work for you.
Yeah.
Your accountant, your CPA, you need to be talking to them about what's relevant, what your financial goals are, all of that kind of stuff.
They need to be tracking it for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then when they create your budget, or you create, however you do that, there should be a line item for every plan.
Yes.
And there should be dollars connected to every plan.
Yes.
And that needs to be tracked.
And if you guys just listen to my podcast with Kelsey with Educated Bookkeeping, she has settings in QuickBooks that she needs to set up to track your plans.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So implementation is not about creating the plan and then letting it sit.
Correct.
It's about creating the plan, delegating who's responsible for the plan, and then checking back with them on a regular basis to see how they're doing.
Yes.
Not micromanaging them by no stretch of the imagination, but you're saying, how's it going? How can I support you? What additional resources do you need?
Is it working?
Is it working? Mm-hmm. Do we need to make a tweak? What you're finding out what's going on. They should be sending you a report every single month on their area of the strategy. We've given you the report. It's connected to the plan.
Yeah.
So complete the report. Have them send it to you. You review that, and then you meet with your team to say, here's where we are. Because if for some reason sales is off,
yes,
right, then who do you think we should talk to? Marketing, what are you doing? Social media, what are you doing? Branding, what are you doing? Community, events, what are you all doing? Mm-hmm. Because it may not be a sales issue. It could be an issue somewhere else. But if we've been paying attention and marketing has been failing, then we can expect that sales might struggle.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that it's important for the nonprofits as well to talk about what their strategic plan is, because it's part of what they do. They need to be communicating it to the donors.
Absolutely.
They need to be communicating it to the community that they're serving. They're saying, you need to be able to say, hey guys, we are now going to do X, Y, Z.
Absolutely.
To accomplish that, we're going to need $1, $2, $3.
And fundraise around it.
We're going to need to hold this event because that's what's going to help us focus in on. It's going to help us bring in the money. All the things. Yeah. You know, you need to reach out to the new partners in the community that now might be a better fit for you because of what those plans are going to be.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of information that comes out of that plan that also has to be communicated, not just to your teams, not just to accomplish it, but to promote it in the community and make sure that it's actually happening and people know what's going on with your organization.
And then guess what? When you decide that you're going to submit that grant, guess where your data's coming from?
Yes.
Those reports. It's so much easier now. You just pull data down because people are reporting to you all the time about how you're impacting the community, what your results are, what you need, those kinds of things. And it just makes work easier.
Yes.
Because now you're doing work informed by data, which is informed by the plan you've created with the intention of getting to your mission.
Yes. And if you're tracking it as you go, it's so much easier to do your next strategic plan.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because that plan, the working of that plan is going to tell you what needs to come after.
Absolutely.
What needs to come next.
Absolutely.
So strategic planning for me, and remembering that a strategic plan is not a business plan. They are not the same. Strategic planning is the key. That's the reason why Fortune 50 companies, Fortune 500 companies are doing it, because it is the key to getting to where you want to go. It's your roadmap. It's your GPS. It is your guiding star. It is the light that is lighting the path to get you. Did I give enough analogies?
Yes, I love it. I love it.
To get you where you need to go.
Yeah.
If you want to get there and you want to be successful, then make it important. And it could mean, for instance, with my team, the third week of December, we take off. I take my team somewhere and we go sit in a room for a whole week. And we plan. What did last year? What did we do this year? And then how does it compare to last year? And then, all right, well, what do we want to do the next year? Create the process of getting it done and make it a big deal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so I know you've got to have a success story or two.
Okay, yeah.
And I would really love to hear about some things that you have made happen for the nonprofits.
I have a nonprofit client that we did some strategy with. And as a result of that strategy, the first quarter they were able to bring in over $1 million.
Oh, wow.
This is a small nonprofit too.
What were they doing before?
About $250,000.
So they could quadrupled their budget.
In the first quarter. Then they built...
For first quarter?
First quarter.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they built relationships with Chick-fil-A. They built relationships with American Airlines. They built relationships with all of these bigger companies and organizations, banks that support what they do now, and they are like killing it. But it is all because they sat down and was intentional about their strategy, and they were able to share that.
And that's, I think, the number one thing is being intentional. And I know everyone does the strategic planning, and they all love to say, well, we do this every year. But I hear so many people from the smaller nonprofits telling me it was just my board. There was a lot of brainstorming and not a whole lot of action. There was a whole lot of talk, but not a lot of action. Or we just didn't have the money for our plans. And I think that all comes back to is the strategic planning was not data-driven. You didn't do any assessment up front. I think that you didn't have the right people in the room. And you certainly didn't have any plans on how to implement it.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what it all comes back to. So are there any words of wisdom that you want to leave the group with? Now that we've talked about all the different levels, have we missed anything that our nonprofits need to know about strategic planning?
I would say don't make an excuse. If you intend to win, be intentional about winning.
Yes.
Go do the work. The book that we use, the tools that we use to walk our clients through are available on Amazon.
Yes.
It is. You can get it for $35, right? And sit down with your team and walk through the whole process. Don't skimp. Don't feel like as a nonprofit this doesn't apply to me. The question is, how does it apply to us as a nonprofit? Because you're not creating revenue. Well, most of you aren't creating revenue, but you're absolutely fundraising. Change the word. But be intentional about it, and not just being intentional about getting it done and checking the box. Know that getting it done gets you to the starting line.
Exactly.
Implementing it inside of your organization and making sure that you are using it and it is informing your everyday is what's going to get you to the finish line.
Absolutely. Like we both said earlier, you got to make the time.
Absolutely.
You got to make the time to be successful. If you are doing that now, you will be successful in the future. If you wait to do it in the future, you're not going to be successful till way later.
Absolutely.
So I hope everybody has gotten as much out of this as we have. I know we've had a great time talking about this. Thank you so much for sharing what you guys do for your clients and what that strategic planning should look like. I think that is such an eye-opener for so many people. And guys, I hope you really benefit from this. So thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on the NonProfit Nook. Thanks for listening to the NonProfit Nook. We're building better nonprofits together. If you found today's episode helpful, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other nonprofit leaders who need support. Follow the NonProfit Nook on social media and sign up for our email list for extra tips and updates. You can also visit thenonprofitnook.com to see the show notes and leave a comment telling me what topics you want next. Your feedback shapes the show. See you next time.